Hey, what's up, everybody? Cheyenne Perry here with the Lean In podcast, where everyone has a story to tell. It's time to lean in, listen, and learn from the stories that are shared. Let's get it. What's up, everybody? Cheyenne Perry here with the Lean In podcast, episode number 3 today. I have a special guest, no other than a brother from another mother. A good friend of mine, loves the Lord, family man, ex-military. I can go on, but this is you don't want to go too long. So, Wardell Bradford, thank you so much for joining us today. How you doing, man?
Too bad. A little distracted. One of my kids is being crazy, but other than that, not bad.
Oh yeah,
How you doing, Pastor Perry?
Blessed, yeah, doing really good, really good.
Always.
Wardell, can you just share a little bit for our viewers and listeners who you are, where you came from, where you at now, as far as location and
Oh man, that's a lot. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm Wardell Bradford. I guess I'm getting a little older now since the last we've been hanging out a lot. You know, not my mid or early 20s anymore. I'm in my mid 30s. Figuring out what that looks like. You know, new pains and aches every morning. Back hurting a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, like you said, I was in the military, you know, went to private schools growing up. Currently trying to send my kids through private school. Mm-hmm. And we've been at a little church now called City Church here in Fort Wayne. Really cool. Yeah, they're involved in a lot of cool ministries and opportunities. They're pretty big on the people on the south side of Fort Wayne and all that comes with that. So people that were formerly addicts or working, what's the proper way to say it? Escorts, I guess. I don't know. Stuff like that. But obviously reformed by Jesus. And so they are living a more God-fearing, God-pleasing life. And it's cool to see a lot of the people on staff are even from that type of past lifestyle. But besides that, yeah, just doing the family life, man. Wish I could be more involved in ministries like we used to be back in the high school young life days. And what was the one that we played basketball at? All those fun little things. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, anymore, like I said, family man. Me and my wife started a painting business, so we've been doing that for the last 5 years. In and out of controls engineering is what my profession usually is. Yeah, same old.
I was trying to remember when we first met. I don't know if you remember or not, but I believe it was through campus ministry with Professor Ben Gates. Shout out to Ben
Gates. Yes, sir.
IPFW, excuse me. I think it's now PFW.
Yeah, PFW. Yep, just Purdue.
I don't know if you remember or not, but I think it was either Ben or someone else that told me, "Hey, can you give this person a ride?"
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, all right, picking up a random stranger, but
right.
I picked you up.
I remember the first time you picked me up, I'm like, this man loves cherries. Like, that's all I smell in this car is just cherries.
Cherry flavor, man. Make your car smell good. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it really did. I was like, it smells good in here. All right.
Yeah. And
I
remember this whole ministry in that during that time period of college and post college, and really cool to see how the Lord has brought us together and even still continue to have that friendship today. We've been through highs and lows and all that, but you've been a faithful friend, a mentor, big brother. Even helped me through a couple of jobs to the movie theater. The one example. It's really,
which man, You took that to a whole nother level. I was like, yeah, it was the boss man. Yeah, right.
Very thankful for our friendship and how the Lord keeps using us and keeping us in touch. So thank you for all you've done and your faithfulness and friendship. So
Same to you, my brother.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. Can you talk to us a little bit about your business? How did that come to be between you and your wife?
Sure, yeah. I'm trying to remember when we even. Okay, so I think so she was working at Sweetwater, and she might have also been working at Starbucks or freshly from Starbucks, and that just wasn't speaking to her spiritually or emotionally or anything really. Just the whole 9 to 5 grind, working on someone else's company. And the way her and I met actually was through a discipleship program through church. Well, I guess we met a little bit before that, but that's when we really got to know each other.
Okay.
And something that stood out to her, this is before there was ever interest on either parties, but was that we both had a very ambitious spirit, and both were more on the apostolic side of giftings, which the way we were taught in that specific ministry just meant that we were both passionate about starting new things and creating new endeavors for the kingdom. And so to her, that looked more like reaching out to coworkers and people in our neighborhood and just creating a safe, hospitable place where people can come and have a meal, talk about their lives, kind of like what you're doing with this podcast, which is really cool. And yeah, she just was really good at that. Unfortunately, she kind of got a little bit burnt out on it because she was looking for people to help her, and it just wasn't something that a lot of people were at that time interested in, which is fair enough because there's just so many ministry opportunities, as always. The Lord leads in different ways. And then, yeah, I was at that time, I think I started trying to start a Fort Wayne chapter of the Prayer Room, which is a popular ministry down in Kansas City through IHOP, International House of Prayer. So I was trying to start like a Fort Wayne version of that. And was also just doing some young adult stuff and stuff like that. So anyway, long story short, so after all that, we got married, obviously. And so she did her 9 to 5. I was doing my 9 to 5. And she was talking about just how she wasn't really feeling encouraged or really like her life had real purpose anymore at those kind of jobs. I mean, she was obviously still influencing people and talking to them and loving on them. And so there's some cool stories I still hear to this day of old Starbucks workers coming up to her like, oh my gosh, I don't know if you know this, but you really like set me on the path and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, oh, dang, awesome.
Praise the Lord. Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so her and I did a little powwow for a little while. I think for a month, we were just going through all the potential things we could do. Like she could go back to school. I think some of our workplaces were offering free education, or she could start her own business potentially, which she had in the past, like a clothing thing with repurposing like Goodwill clothes and stuff like that, making like a brand kind of recognition for some of that. But we ended up finding out that she really enjoyed painting more creatively, but also just painting in general. She's good with the paintbrush and had an eye for straight lines and steady hand and all that kind of stuff. So she wanted to at least try and see what that would look like in a professional setting, doing it for money. So she found a client at Sweetwater who needed a house painter, and made him an offer of, I don't know, it was pretty cheap at that time. He accepted, and then I helped her a little bit, mainly setting up the ladders and stuff, but she did all the painting, and it turned out really, really well. He was very happy about it, and she got paid, and she was excited, and so we just kept that momentum going. And yeah, unfortunately, the next year was 2020, and we all know what happened during that year.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so things fizzled out a little bit. I mean, obviously for everyone, people didn't want us in their houses with the pandemic going on. So we had to kind of reshape things, recast vision, go back to our prayer life of asking the Lord what he wants for us, things like that. And honestly, we just really felt like Origami is the name of the painting company. That Origami wasn't done yet. God was still going to do some stuff with it. So we stuck with it through the pandemic, did as much as we could, which wasn't much. I think that year we had like 1 or 2 jobs exterior, and we took all the proper precautions. I got back into engineering. That was what do they call them? Essential. That was an essential job. It's a lot of the infrastructure of different factories, especially ones producing medical equipment or anything like that. They still needed their machines up and running. So I at least had enough to keep us afloat. So then after 2020, she was doing stuff part-time. We were having kids, obviously, as well. So it's becoming more challenging that way as well. But it all eventually worked out. The Lord's hand was on it the whole time. Whenever we were struggling the most, he showed up the most. And so now, thankfully, actually, funny enough, about a year ago, so last October, I quit my full-time job to give my wife an opportunity to work full-time on the business. And I've been learning the stay-at-home dad life. That's been a journey. A lot of diapers, a lot of crying. So a lot of patience. Trying my best to be, I guess the new term for it is the gentle parent. Trying to learn how to parent not out of emotion, but out of, just meeting them where they're at and boundaries and all that without having to just resort immediately to, harsh discipline like we were raised. But anyway, so yeah, it's all been a journey. The Lord's been blessed us. We've had our best year yet this year. We've done almost triple business than we've done last year. It's on the up and up. Yeah, praise the Lord. Yep, exactly. That's where we're at. We're just in awe of all the really cool stuff that's going on. So yeah, that's the business. Oh, one more thing real quick. So when we were at our lowest, because this is just a funny story, one of our lowest points in the business, this is post-pandemic. So a lot of the rules were kind of in effect. Some people still didn't want us in their house. All fine. But we were starting to get a surge of business, and more so than Hannah could keep up with. That's my wife. And we just couldn't find good workers. We cycled to a few people, and just nothing was sticking yet. But then we found a young man named Jesus who stepped up and had a crew and took on a lot of our work and was the quality we wanted. And we had a really good relationship, all around really good, and it helped a ton. So not only was Jesus looking out for us, but Jesus was also looking out for us. So we just, all of the signs and wonders. So we were very happy and grateful. And since then, he's still one of our key crews. We have access to about 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere in that range, crews now. So Hannah rarely has to do a lot of the physical work. She's more just in the office, checking out the invoices, keeping the sales and marketing going. Every now and again, there's a project that requires a creative touch, which then she can do. And that's where she specializes and thrives in, thankfully. But yeah, hasn't it been going well? Life's been the up and up. Very grateful.
Yeah, that story of endurance, right? Perseverance, career. Like,
exactly.
how many times have you and Hannah like thought about like, you know what, we're done, we're quitting, like, because you just weren't seeing the results?
Many times. Many times. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And yeah, we're
Now,
beyond that point now, thankfully.
yeah, origami painting.
Origami
Are you guys
painting.
just based in Fort Wayne, or do you go like elsewhere outside of Fort Wayne, or just?
For now, we're more, I mean, Northeast Indiana in general. Like, we'll travel a little bit. I think the furthest we've traveled was maybe Ohio. So I'd have to double check with my wife, but we'll go up to like an hour, hour and a half, in some cases 2 hours away. But yeah, mostly Northeast Indiana. We have considered branching out a little bit. We got some systems to get down, make things a little more repeatable. As our business coach tells us, it's all fine and dandy to have a business up here, but you got to also have it, on paper for
Right.
anyone else you're trying to bring in. So, and any future expansion plans. So,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
So anyone in the Fort Wayne area, if you need your house painted, all sorts of things, check out Origami Painting. Do you guys have a Facebook page?
Yes, sir.
Socials?
Yeah. Origami Painting and Design .com is our website. And then Origami Painting and Design, I believe, is also our Facebook page. We got an Instagram. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're pretty much on everything. LinkedIn, Yelp, all of it. So,
Hey, yeah, I'll have to put it in the show notes, and that way people who are interested can definitely reach out and get the painting that they need to be done by you guys. So bless you and your hands, because I am not good at painting, nor do I like it. But it has
I'm not good at
to be
painting
done,
either,
right?
by the way.
Yeah. So you mentioned staying at home with the kiddos. How's that been for you? Like transitioning, as a husband, and wanting to work well with your wife to do what you gotta do, essentially, to make things happen.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man, I tell you what, stay-at-home moms don't get enough appreciation. That's the first thing I learned.
Hey, say it again for the people in the back. Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, because that stay-at-home life, woo, that's a rough one for sure. Out of all the jobs I've had, this is definitely one of the harder jobs. I mean, it's you barely get breaks. Way more emotional pull. You got a lot of emotions, a lot of needs, a lot of noise. The new term is overstimulated. That's definitely something that easy to get to that point. Yeah, I didn't realize how much mental energy it took for sure. I think I take for granted when you're at work. I mean, you can kind of suck out a little bit mentally and just do your job. And yeah, with kids, you cannot do that. They will very much notice if you are not mentally there, and they will make sure to bring you back into that mental awareness very quickly.
Yes, come on. Yes, yes, yes.
Which is all, it's fine and dandy. It's part of the parenting journey. You want to be present. You want to cater to their needs and see where they're at, and do your best to shape and mold them to strong women and men of the Lord. So
yeah,
yep, it's its own thing for sure. Learning experience. No one's perfect, so obviously I have to, give myself grace, and also I like to do that in front of my children. I like to give them the opportunity to call me out, say, "Hey, you were a little mean." Like, yes, I was. I do apologize.
yeah.
I'll do better tomorrow, hopefully. So, but yeah, you learn a lot about yourself through your kids too. I mean, seeing a mini version of yourself. Oh man, he's got an
Yeah,
attitude. That must be what
right.
I look like sometimes.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's funny because you're right. Because parenting, once you have kids, whether it's one, two, four, a million, it definitely changes your life. Like I remember when we first had our oldest, me and you, we had conversations before, like, oh, we can't wait to get married, can't wait to have kids, and
Oh yeah.
now we're in this, like, we're having kids, and like, it's hard, right? I've realized that it's not easy, but it's worth it. But like you said, kids just remind you of yourself, and also like grace and how do you like model like good parenting, and we're not going to be the best every day, and we screw up and mess up every day,
Yeah.
and I still struggle with that. But God's been gracious to us, right? So we can be gracious to our kids, to our spouses,
Hey
and things of
man.
that. Yeah. Thinking about your childhood, has your parenting changed from how you were raised to how you parent now? I know
Oh
I'm
yeah.
just those. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite
yeah,
conversations to have with my mom. I'm like, man, it's not the mom I was raised with, you know? 'Cause, yeah, she loves to spoil our kids. And um every now and again when I'm venting or whatever else to her, she'll very much take her grandbaby's side and you leave them alone. And it's like, oh man.
yeah,
Oh man.
yeah,
But no, it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like we have to have grace for ourselves with our parenting, and it also helps you being a parent have more grace for your parents and struggles they've been through, uh, especially with everyone's lifestyle is different um, with parenting. So obviously I'm more in a stable place than my mother was when she was raising me. um, 'Cause she had me when she was a teenager and was not following the Lord at that time. Um, so all that comes with that. And I don't believe my father was in the picture for very long. And yeah, so she was doing the best what she could do with what she had. And obviously she still needed to provide. And so she was always working. And when she wasn't overly stressed from that, you throw a little kid in the mix, obviously she's going to be a little strict. Uh, so yeah, I get it. It's just, like I said, it's funny seeing her now. I mean, part of it, I mean, obviously she's at a way, way, way more stable place and she loves the Lord and all that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just entertaining to see her new style of parenting to her grandbabies. But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I feel like you have a similar upbringing where my mom had me when she was a young teenager, and now seeing her as a grandmother, loving on our kids, like, yeah, it's cool to see, like, obviously I didn't know her as a mother back then. Because I was a kid, but seeing her progress and be transformed over time, and now loving on our
yeah,
kids, and how that's been a cool relationship of just trying to keep being present and communicate and things of that nature. Is pretty, yeah, it's pretty wild. Think about it, like, all right, okay, I see reward, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So,
By the way, the loud noise in the background, that's my kids.
oh, it's all good, yeah, all good.
Yep.
Wardell, can you share with us what's been a struggle or challenge that you faced growing up as a kid, young Wardell?
Oh boy. You better answer, what did I not struggle with? Woo! Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of hit on both sides with as far as the struggles of my parents. I mean, my dad was raised in a very substance abusive household, and he had to go through the foster care system, and then also had some substance abuse of his own, obviously. And then my mom was raised in a very high discipline, very, very high discipline, high strict, high physical abuse to some degree, um, and anger and all those types of emotions. Yeah, so the mixture of that and coming into the world of all that, I got to see a lot at an early age of anger and uh, yeah, just jump into more of a physical type of response with anger and all that, and then the abuse of things, substance wise, and all that. I think, um, thankfully, I think my mom tried her best to shield me from a lot of that, but uh, with a mix of her working a lot, and then I'll also, being at different babysitters and whatever else is going on, I just was exposed to a lot as a kid, both sexually and uh, substances and such. I did not partake, thankfully. Um, and then, yeah, anger and all that obviously was always at the forefront. Or just having a bunch of emotions and knowing how to deal with them, and then seeing how other people deal with them. Uh, yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot. Obviously, growing up with that upbringing, that my early developmental years led to more challenges and temptations and whatnot in all those realms of sexuality and substances and anger. And I think at some point, a lot of those areas peaked. And as far as like the darkness from them, for me personally, obviously it can always get worse and always be way, way, way bad. I've heard nightmare stories of all those scenarios. But for me personally, yeah, I think I had several instances where it just wasn't at a healthy place. I was at a really dark place with all of those. And it took a lot of soul searching and a lot of coming to Jesus and a lot of seeking help, and programs and mentors and, getting deep, digging deep, getting to the roots, combating that sinful nature. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
and I always found it, I don't know if entertaining is the right word, but, what would be the right word? Not quite bothersome. I guess there was a little bit of jealousy. But I don't know the right word, but just seeing how other people, like their journeys and what they've been through in the Christian community, it seems like a lot of people were raised in the faith, and, or at the very least, they were shielded a lot from some of the ugliness of this world. And so they got opportunities to really, not have to go down dark paths. And so, hearing their stories and whatnot, and then when it's my turn to share, I'm like, oh boy, a little different for me.
Right. Yeah.
But they, it's always been met with grace and support, love. I'm thankful for. Yeah, no, it's been a journey for sure. Still is to some extent. Obviously, like I said, I've reached my darkest at some point. I'm a little past that now. I've been more, my mind's been more, how do I now shield my family and my children from a lot of, again, the ugliness of the world. So yeah, what relationships should I allow and not allow with some of my family members or whatever? And yeah, what programs on the TV or whatever should, be in the house, and just stuff like that. Just all the parental stuff you got to worry about now. And
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
areas where I'm still a little weak and I'm not quite there, haven't fully gotten to the root in some things, like, for instance, anger would be the biggest thing, probably, which thankfully, like I said, I've worked on extensively um, in the past with all sorts of different things. So, but every now and again, naturally it'll continue to boil up and fester a little bit, and I got to deal with it all over again and keep it in check.
Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate you sharing, man. That's a way to be honest and authentic. Not easy to talk about, and just to see the transformation of Jesus working in you. And have you been able to like help others from your challenges and difficulties to show them, hey, there's a better way?
100%. Yeah, there's actually been a lot of people that somehow come into my life, or that's drawn to me, or I'm drawn to them along my journey, that I definitely see they would be more considered the difficult type of people to interact with due to their own struggles and whatnot. Um, and for some reason, it's a little easier for me just because of my background. Um, so any headed people or people that are really struggling sexually or uh, substance abuse, any of that kind of stuff. I've got several men that I've encountered that really want to, seek the Lord, really want to accept Jesus, but they themselves don't feel uh, like they're able to because of what they see, when they think of church and Jesus and all that, and all the cleanliness and clean cut and all that, they just think, that's not for me. I'm not that kind of person. Um, and so I try my best, 'cause they'll initially view me that way, and then I like, you wouldn't understand, man. You don't know what I've been through, bro. Stuff like that. And so then I have to, set the record straight, let them know. So it's entertaining to see their eyes kind of widen and go, oh, you've been through that. Oh, yep, been through that. And this is where you're at now. Yep, this is where I'm at now. Jesus absolutely has the power to change.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason he came down here. He wasn't coming to perfect people. He's coming to messy people. And so the messier you are, the more that's who he's after. So, and so, yeah, it's been, like I said, it's been a fun journey. Those kind of people coming into my life and getting to use some of my story to help them out and use some of the wisdom the Lord's given me in that journey to get them headed in the right direction. Do they always listen? No, unfortunately. And does it make it a little more difficult, in my life personally? A little bit, but nothing compared to, sacrifices of Jesus and other believers on behalf of the kingdom. So, and being um, as wise as I can, giving as much wisdom as I can, stuff like that. And yeah, it's been a journey as always. I know I'm going to say that a bunch, but that's literally what it is, just a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. I think about the time me and you worked for Young Life back in the
Young
day. We
Liz.
used to Young Life. Shout out to folks who helped us with that ministry. So we would serve particular high school. I believe it was Northside High School, and I remember. So Young Life was a cool parachurch ministry where we would just serve, particularly high school students, meet them where they're at, similar to campus life. And I remember you, Wardell, linking up with a young guy, Victor, and just to see
Victor.
like the transformation is real, folks. Like let me tell you, like Victor, I remember him coming in kind of closed minded, like didn't want nothing to do with Jesus, and Wardell, you can probably tell the story a bit better, but just to see the transformation of him, like Jesus is real. I believe his life is transformed. Like it is cool to see just one story of many stories, right? Of how God can just transform you. And so I don't know if you've spoken to Victor since, or like how's he doing, or anything to add to that. But man, that was powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the perfect example, actually. Yeah, a kid who just had a rougher upbringing in Guatemala. So he saw some things even worse than what I've seen. He saw some death and whatnot. So yeah, no, it was definitely a amazing experience, and definitely an honor to be a part of that and see from the beginning to where he's at now. And yeah, just like I said about previously, the wisdom that you can give and then what they actually do. He's just been on his own journey, and I'm always here for him, and I never judge. And yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I think he got baptized within the last 5 years since I've been married, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And so fully dedicating to the Lord, really trying to, he calls God Homie G. He's really trying to wear Homie G and and just stuff like
Homie
that.
G, all right. I love it.
So, been cool. I try to stay in touch for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for again being by example, man. Right? You are meeting kids where they're at in their mess. We've been, we are messy, but Jesus can clean us up and make us anew, right? So that was a very, very fun season in our lives of serving.
Oh man, yeah.
With that ministry.
Miners we pulled.
Yeah. Yeah, nowadays I can only do a couple, but not as much as I used to.
Nope.
So,
yeah.
One more question here, and I know you got to probably get going and take care of your kiddos.
Man. It's not 3 hours yet.
For the week. What's a story about you that most people don't know about?
The questions, wasn't it? I meant to think about that more. So here, let me think real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me see. I feel like I have a decent amount to pick from. We talk about myself a lot, which is funny coming on a podcast like this. I'm more interested to kind of like you. Well, I know you're good at sharing about yourself too, but I'm more interested in knowing other people. What's your story? So,
Right.
I don't know if I should tell this one, but this is a funny story I learned recently that I had no idea. But apparently, if I get in trouble, I'm sorry, mother. But so apparently, when I was a kid, think about my current kid's age, so 5-ish, he's sick, and the doctors and whatnot, I guess, didn't really fully know what to do. So out of options, my mother decided to listen to some of her friends or family members or whoever was telling her, to take me to a Hispanic Mexican witch doctor, essentially, voodoo and whatnot. And apparently she did some type of thing, ritual or whatnot, and then told my mother that night to put a egg in water in a bowl under my bed, and that if in the morning the egg was hard boiled, had been fully cooked, that the evil spirit has left my body. Something about, I can't remember, it's evil eye or Oho or something. And I don't much get into voodoo, and by much I mean not at all, obviously. But so apparently, apparently it worked. Apparently, my mom said the egg was fully boiled, and then I immediately lost my fever and was feeling all better. And so, yeah, my mom's last visit to town, she told me that story, and I was like, "What?
Wow.
You did
Wow. Yeah.
what?" So, crazy world, There's a lot of unknowns and stuff we just shouldn't even be messing with. And obviously, we'll never take my kids. I'm sure she wouldn't either nowadays. And she, like I said, she's a different person now. But yeah, that's a fun little story. That a little scared.
Yeah. Not messing around. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But Jesus is better. Jesus is better. Come on. Yeah.
Jesus is 100% better. Yes, sir. Yeah, I've heard better miracles than that through the church community. So, yeah, that's not nothing.
Yeah. I want to ask you quick on City Church. So they took over. So that's in Fort Wayne, Indiana. For those who don't know, did they take over the old Scouts building?
Yeah, the old Scots, the cornucopia, is no more, unfortunately. I think they still have it. They just took it down, so it's intact. It's not on display, and it's a gorgeous building. They put a lot into it.
How's that been?
Very clean. Oh, it's good. Yeah, ironically enough, so again, my involvement with the church, I haven't been super duper like ministry wise involved, but I have been going for a little while. I believe I went after their first or second anniversary as a church plant on the south side of Fort Wayne from Pine Hills. And it was super tiny. Not a lot of people. And it was, honestly, I didn't know much of them. They were within walking distance of where I was living at the time. And I was kind of searching for a church, more local, like close to me. So it would be easier. And they would be actually, part of the community as well. I was hoping they're more interested in the neighborhood. So yeah, I found them, went in, liked it a lot. Pastor Chris Freeman, he's an amazing guy, very godly man. Is always spot on with his teachings and whatnot. And so yeah, just was sticking it out. Hannah and I started dating, and I took her. And then I think shortly after that, they moved from that building, which is the old building called. It's right across the street from Southside. Yeah, it's like a little ministry building they were renting out. So they went from that to an old college campus right down the street. I was renting that place out because the congregation grew, and then going there, just grew and grew and grew, and then obviously COVID yet again, and everything was online, and we were having more kids, and it was a little harder for us once they did reopen the building to start coming in, and we were kind of up in the air about it because of COVID. Obviously, we didn't want our kids exposed too much. But we did keep watching, and every now and again, after it was a little while, we would come into it as well and just see all these people. We're like, holy moly, it grew. So then they were like, we need a new building. So then we went on a campaign for that. And then they just got this building this year, and it's already at like max capacity. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so they're just growing. It's really cool to see. Very much love it. Pastor Chris is still same old. Can definitely tell he's got a lot more on his plate now. And yeah, at some point, I think my wife and I, we are planning on, stepping up a little bit, helping a little more. Once our family gets a little less chaotic, and even maybe in the midst of that, we still might try to find something we can do. But definitely we're appreciative of them and their ministry on the south side of Fort Wayne. We unfortunately do not live on the south side of Fort Wayne anymore, but we very much still have a heart for it and love the people on that side. That's where my wife grew up. That's where I grew up. You got a few buddies that are still down there doing ministry and whatnot. It's really cool to see. Yeah, they're just doing it big. Very much hoping that they bring real change and breakthrough and just, bringing the kingdom to Fort Wayne. Oh, that'd be awesome. Some type of revival. That'd be amazing. So see what God has in store.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I've heard some good things about City Church, and I'll watch some of the services online. I think during COVID, I'll catch some of their services, and I'll say, okay, all right, I'll see the Lord's working through that body of believers at City Church. So, and to see that growth is encouraging. So I think, like you said, Fort Wayne needs they need Jesus, need the people who are believers to be a light in that dark place, just similar to other cities in the country. So, praise the Lord. So, sweet, man. Well, I think that's all I have for today, brother man, Wardell. So, I do appreciate you and just sharing your heart and your stories of just how God redeemed you from your past, and also just encouraging other young men from the challenges you faced, and also your awesome business, Origami. So again, check it out if you haven't on the socials. And if you need some paint work to be done, Wardell and Hannah and the crew are your people. So
yes, sir.
If I didn't live so far away, I would be like, Wardell, I need you to paint my whole house.
Gladly.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
absolutely.
Put that in consideration. Yeah. But yeah. So thank you so much for viewing and for listening to today's episode of the Lean In podcast with myself, Cheyenne, and Wardell Bradford. Thank you so much for your presence, your gracefulness, and the man of God you are today and every day. So, blessings to you, my brother.
Brother man.
Sir, brother man. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. We out.